Rose Room, which, as we know, originally this was a one-room cabin. And if you see this little cherry wood, it's called a gentleman's bureau. Gentlemen used to put their shoes on the bottom part. And this we got when we very first started. It's that, I'm drawing a blank on the style of design that it is. It will come to me. This was from the old Crescent Hotel before the fire there. And if I'm correct, over here you can see a few places where the fire, you can see there, where the fire affected this, and the Crescent Hotel gave away furniture that was fire damaged to, there in that corner, there's quite a bit of it, to people that had helped put the fire out, locals. And this was one of my favorite rooms. I found it so cheery and sweet. And you can see again, and this is the wallpaper that we had. You know, it went in 1981, I think. And I'm going to grab this little storytelling board that is the Rose Room version of the other one. I always really loved this little room. And you can see why it was so amazing for Jerry to come up with these wallpaper layers, not knowing we had all these layers of wallpaper, and there's my writing and, you know, which layer each one was. There's a similar little story about the room, as we said in the last one. And so at first these were just little tiny rooms, and then we added on. I can't remember offhand what year it was, but we added on the Rose and Iris room these little shed roof additions that had these wonderful little, we found a way to get a fireplace in each, and we managed to keep that same trim look. The bed, you can see, it looks like it could have matched the gentleman's bureau. I can't remember when we got the bed, but see that same. Hey, Choo Choo?
Yes.
Tell me what style this is, style of furniture this is. It's from the Crescent Hotel. It's not Craftsman.
Eastlake.
Eastlake, thank you. Eastlake, so that was the one from the Crescent Hotel. And then this, we got to match it, and we kept our eye out, and we found this piece of trim that we put on top of the mantle to tie. We're in the bathroom of the Rose Room, and this skylight was my pride and joy. That way it angled, it filled this whole room with light. Because I don't like dark bathrooms without windows, and behind me is this huge, huge ass bathtub, and somebody got rid of it from a Victorian house. Why they threw it out, I can't imagine. But it is cast iron, it is clawfoot, and it was long enough so even Ned could lie down in it. And the most heavenly thing was to take a bath in here. This was before, I'm sure this got put up to give the colony people, you know, a shower. Of course, if you're coming for a weekend, you can handle just a bath. But to lie down in this bathtub and look up at the sky was just the most serene, sweet, wonderful thing you can imagine. It was great, and I loved it. And my friend Jan Brown, with whom I once, she and I collaborated on the Dairy Hall House cookbook. We worked on that book in the other room, in the what's now the Tulip Room, or as of this filming is the Tulip Room. And we were working like crazy, and she was taking a bath in here, and I brought her in something like a little tiny glass of amaretto while she was in the bathtub. We were working so hard. So this was one of my favorite rooms, and I loved what happened when that skylight got added. All right, now we're in the Iris room, the last of the three rooms here, and as you can see, it's all in blues, and has that same little shed addition that we added to it. Throughout the house, there's a mix of art, some from children's books, either that I had a personal connection with or that I felt had a connection with the room. When we had it as an inn, in the Iris room, where it was blue, there were either irises or blue flowers. And I spent many a time trying to get blue flowers. We put a little window seat here, and lo and behold, these are the original cushions with, that's the original wallpaper, these are the original cushions. And this was a sweet little spot to curl up in. Same, this wallpaper here went in when we did the addition. And these, although it's inside out, these were the original curtains, and I actually still have some of the sheets that match this at home where I live now in Vermont. This particular room had special meaning to me because my late father, Maurice, when he would come to visit for a week each spring and each fall, loved to stay here. And so this room was associated for me with the smell of coffee brewing, and he liked having fruit in the morning. So he had a big basket of bananas, which for no particular reason he used to pronounce bananas. And so I can kind of smell in my mind ripe bananas. And you know, my father, his ashes are in that garden, in that bed there.
He asked to be interred.
He asked to be there. That was
outside the hours.
whenever times he would pass it, he would pat the stone and say, "Ah, my final resting place." And what he wanted for an epitaph is another ridiculous story that we don't have time for today, but I can maybe tell another time. And my father, you know, the writing, I've used the phrase DNA before, but there's writing DNA throughout, because my father was he was a Hollywood biographer. He was Marilyn Monroe's first biographer. He wrote for the Billboard. He gave Duke Ellington his first national review. He was a jazz editor for the Billboard in the days when Ella Fitzgerald and the Ink Spots were playing in Harlem, and he was the only white guy up there. And then he went on to really make his life writing about actors and actresses. And so he stayed here quite a bit. Now, also in this suite room, and again, you know, the furniture is different, you know, there's this and that that's different, but there's much that's the same, and I'm glad that we're getting a picture of it before it begins its next incarnation. If you turn around towards those windows, and you see these shades here that are woven, they are shades made by Eleanor Lux, who is Eureka Springs' premier and wildly talented fiber artist and weaver, and she no longer does this kind of, you know, they would tear it into strips, and so we had all these shades of blues, and they come down like this and that. You know, we were very careful whenever we could. You know, it's the thing that sort of these days everyone says local, but you know, we didn't have the words locavore then, but we had nouveaux arts, which was what we call our style of cuisine that we had back then. And we went to great effort to give that regional rightness. I mean, what makes a Derry Hollow house, or for that matter a writer's colony at Derry Hollow, different from a Holiday Inn or a writer's colony in New England? Place. It didn't feel isolated to me. I could walk into town in 15 minutes but still have quiet and solitude. And I lived here from age 2 months after my 18th birthday to my 50th year. So most of my years were here. Not here or in that house. In the last 10 years of my life I lived over at a little studio over that way. But it was perfect. It was just quiet and secluded enough, but you could still walk into town. And I loved it well, and it loved me.